Hello, I'm Vijay, PGP first year student at IM3G. Today I'm going to talk about one among the many challenges currently faced by Indian economy. This is Human Development Index or HDI. So what is Human Development Index? It's a measure of well-being within a country. This is mainly a social measurement because it takes into consideration education and healthcare, which is adult literacy rate and years of schooling, then healthcare, which is judged by life expectancy, and finally the economic factor of GDP. In 2015, India has been placed at 130th position among 188 countries with 0.609 score is in the medium human development category, which was at 135 in the 2014 report. Empowering the population through universal education and healthcare, India needs to improve its human development index rank. As at 130, it's way below many other developing countries' performance. Coming to importance of education in economic growth. On a general note, education is indispensable to economic development. A balanced education system promotes not only economic development but productivity and generates individual income per capita. Its influence is noticeable at micro level of an individual family. Education has its effect on labor productivity, poverty, trade, technology, health, income distribution, and family structure. Education provides a foundation for development, the groundwork on which much of our economic and social well being is built. It is a key to increasing economic efficiency and social consistency. By increasing the value and efficiency of their labor, it helps to raise the poor from poverty. It increases the overall productivity and intellectual flexibility of labor force. It helps to ensure that a country is competitive in world markets, now categorized by challenging technologies and production methods. By increasing a child's integration with dissimilar social and ethnic groups early in life, education contributes significantly to nation building and interpersonal tolerance. Let's see where India stands. In recent decades, India has made significant progress on access to schooling and enrollment rates in primary education, but dropout rates and low levels of learning remain challenges for state and central government. As the US has a longer history of public education than India, there are opportunities for India to learn from the successes and failures in American education system and to collaborate in tackling shared challenges, such as the best use of technology in primary education. Primary school enrollment in India has been a success story, largely due to various programs and drives to increase enrollment even in remote areas, with enrollment reaching at least 96% since 2009 and girls making up to 56% of new students between 2007 and 2013. It is clear that many problems of access to schooling have been addressed. Improvements to infrastructure have been priority to achieve this, and India has now 1.4 million schools and 7.7 million teachers, so that 98% of habitation have a primary school, that is class 1 to 5th, within 1 kilometer, and 92% have an upper primary school, which would be 6 to 8 standard within 3-kilometer walking distance. The lack of learning in Indian schools call for change to teacher education. Technology has a high potential to improve education, but how it can be implemented most effectively and in case of India most cost effectively still remains a question. There are several initiatives in India by NGOs like the Azim Premji Foundation and Digital Study Hall and corporations like ILFS, Educon Intel, Media Labs to mention just a few. In content creation, teacher training and classroom learning. Skill development. Making education more practically relevant to the labor market is priority for Prime Minister Modi. To summarize, currently spending on education is low in India and stands at 3.4% of GDP, whereas in developed countries like UK and US it stands at 5.6%. Now let us see the effect of healthcare on economic development. It is no secret that health is an instrument to individuals' education, income, and overall development. Studies show that it's true for countries as well. Health can be a causative factor for aggregate economic growth of a country. The World Health Organization has estimated that a 10-year increase in average life expectancy at birth is associated with a rise of economic growth of 0.3 to 0.4% a year. The evidence is available at the micro disease level as well. For example, a 10% decrease in malaria is associated with an increased annual growth of 0.3%. According to research, a reduction in mortality accelerates growth of income per capita and population size and suggests that public health policy plays a potentially important role for economic development. As a nation, we have to We have made good progress, and India is healthier today than ever before. We have eradicated smallpox and polio, made progress with regards to HIV infection and AIDS related deaths, and seen increased access and affordability. However, a lot still remains to be done, especially when compared against the Millennium Development Goals. India has the highest population growth rate in India. The WHO, in its ranking of healthcare systems, placed India at a dismal 112th position out of 190 countries it studied. This is corroborated by the fact that India spends just 4.2% of GDP on healthcare, of which public health spending is mere 1.2%, compared to 3% in China and 8.3% in the United States. It's a healthy nation that turns into a wealthy nation. India is unprepared for dual burden of communicable and non-communicable diseases. Yet there is a clear proof of returns from investment in healthcare, the soft infrastructure of a country. As a nation and the government took at a second wave of reforms, healthcare needs to be a key priority. We can bring about a tectonic shift towards better healthcare with a healthy India, where citizens are health aware and engaged, have equitable access to affordable health coverage with a focus on prevention, early diagnosis, and assured minimum quality of care, offered by a vibrant and sustainable ecosystem of public and private players. The public sector cannot deliver on the agenda alone. Private sector players bring entrepreneurship, innovation, and ability to deliver financial and medical outcomes that creates a sustainable ecosystem. The urgent and immediate agenda is for all the stakeholders, public and private, to acknowledge the task at hand and work to address them. To summarize, an analysis of 30-year-old data shows that India's improved performance on HDI is not through improvements in education and health, but mainly through income growth. India's GNI PPP stands at $5,497, a 338% increase in 1980, while its life expectancy at birth is 68 years, an increase in 14 years in the past 35 years. However, improvements can be made largely when it comes to education indicators. The mean years of schooling has increased only by 3.5 years since 1980. The expected years of schooling increased by 5.3 years in the same period. I leave the discussion here and let you ponder over the question.